So what is the solution? The solution is to work with the subagents. Now, how exactly subagents can be created? So basically, whatever you're doing with the main session, of course, those things are important. Now, when you have this type of task where you can delegate those tasks to someone else, and that someone else will create or complete the entire task, and in return, what you will get is a summary. And the advantage is in the main context, you don't have all these things which we are doing now. You can see it has completed task by creating these three things. And now if I check the context, taking some time. So look at the context. It's filled with these things, and majority of this part will be the thing which we have done. So we can reduce that. So the way you can do that is by creating subagent. So now main agent will create the subagent, and you don't have to worry about the context size because subagent will have their own context. So you can see subagent own context window. They have their own tools, and they will read the lines. Okay, whatever lines they want to read, they will read the lines, and they will have that in their own context. And when they complete the work, what they will give you back is the summary. Right, so once you get the summary, you go back to the main agent, and the main agent will have the summaries. So still clean, but it will have summaries. And then you can focus on the real work. So important point to remember is whenever you create a subagent, it will have its own context. It will have its own tools. But again, just because you have you're creating an agent, it's not like it's not going to burn the tokens. It will. Whatever tokens it's burning, it's their task, right? Ultimately, you will lose tokens, but the main thing is your context. The main context will not be filled. So the question is, whatever we have done till now, have we used the subagents yet? And the answer is yes. So there are built-in subagents. Of course, you can create your own subagents, but there are built-in subagents which we have used. Whenever we use explore, that's a subagent. Okay, so when you say explore, it goes to the entire project, it explores. So explore is one subagent. So next time when you're trying to explore something, observe. It is creating a new subagent. And by default, it is going to use a model called Haiku. Reason is just understanding the project, right? Why you have to burn so many tokens. So we can use a smaller model, Haiku. It is fast and cheap, read-only tool. It will only use read-only tools, and it will skip the CloudMD file. Then we have the next subagent, which is inbuilt, which is plan. Now this, whenever we use a plan, it will use a model. Now it will use a model which is already we are using. It will not change the model. So if you are using Sonnet, it will use Sonnet. If you use Claude, it is going to inherit the Claude. It will do the same thing. And then we have general purpose agents as well, which will do certain things. Maybe we'll focus on this later. At this point, not required. Only two things we have used, explore and plan. But you can create your own subagent. The beautiful thing is when you work with subagents, of course, you can create your own subagents. You can call the subagents. So from the main agent, when you're calling a subagent, you can do that, right? You can create subagent. But subagent will not be calling another subagent. I mean, they cannot spawn a next subagent. And that's good for us so that you will know what's happening. Imagine if subagents creating subagents, it will be an entire tree and you will never get the output. So only a main agent is going to create the subagent. Now question arises, how do you create a subagent? So at this point, we'll not be using these files. So I can just safely delete this file. Okay. And what I'm going to also do is I'm going to clear this entire session. Otherwise, it is going to use the earlier context and it might mix up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new agent. Now, how many agents we need? So basically, I have two tasks which I want to give to the agents. One task or one subagent is responsible to create the API extract, and the second subagent is responsible for the seed data. So one for the backend API ends and one for the database. But again, we can do those things from the main agent as well. But we know now, I don't want to waste my context. I can give this task to the subagents. Now, the way you can create agents is by saying /agents. So simple. So when you say /agents, this is what you will see here. Running and library. So you can see there are two options. Now, in the running, you will see all these subagents which are running. Okay, at this point, there are no subagents which are running. Then when you go to the library, at this point, there are no custom subagents created, but you can use some inbuilt subagents here. So when you say explore, those are part of the subagents. In fact, we can create our own agents like this for the code reviewer, for code simplifier, for the tech lead, for UX reviewer, but we want to create a subagent now for the other task. So we can simply select create a new agent, and we can select in which way you want it to be. You want the subagent for the project, or you want the subagent for the personal. Now, when you say personal, it is only applicable for you. But when you say project, even your team members can use it, and we want it to be in that way. I want my team members to have the access for this. So I will say project, and then there are two options. You want to do the manual configuration, or you want to generate with Claude. Recommended, so let's go with that. Now, it's not like if it is getting created by Claude, you can't change it. You can still customize it. So I will do that. And now you can just write a simple text using which it will create the agent for you. I'll say API extractor. And anyway, I'm going to change this entire document later, so I'm not going to focus so much on the good prompt. I will say API extractor, read the app.js and produce API contract.md file. Again, it's not descriptive, but it will create the agent for you, and we are going to change the configuration. So let's go with the default one here. And I'm going to show you both the ways. How do you create them? How do you create that in a manual way? So generating agent from the description, which will take some time, and that agent will be available in the .claude folder. So at this point, you can see there's no agents folder, but once it has done its work, it is going to come back here, or it will create the folder there. Okay. Now, it has given a prompt to us, which is what tools you want here. So at this point, I'm just going to, we don't need MCP tools, and let's have access to them. Anyway, I'm going to customize that later. So remove MCP, click on continue. And now model determines, okay, so basically this sub-agent should use which one? So one, you can use Sonnet, Opus, or Haiku, or you can inherit from the parent. So whichever main agent is using the model, it is going to use the same one. At this point, I'm going to select, let's say, for the API extract, I need Sonnet. Maybe for the seed extractor, I'll use Haiku. So I will say, maybe I will show you inherit first. So I will say inherit from parent. And then you can also give a color to it. So you can choose automatic, or what you can do is, if you are creating multiple agents, you want to differentiate if their sub-agents are running, which one is what. So you can give colors to them. So let's say for the API extractor, I'm giving purple. Select. And so agent memory should be project scope, that's recommended. And that's it. You got your agent. If you can see, we got agent memory, and inside that we got API contract extractor. Perfect. We got only one file. That's how you can see it in this way. And this is your agent. So I will say save, enter to save, and we got an agent created. So this is the MD file which we want. So when you run the agent, it is going to use this MD file to understand its purpose, right? And now if you can see in the library of agents, we got API contract extractor agent. Perfect. And the model is inherit and the project memory. So if you look here, it's not that readable, but let me just highlight certain things. So this is the API contract extractor, the name. Next is description. Now this is very important. So these two things, name and description, is very important for the agent creation. So it also uses a YAML front matter. So basically you have to make sure that you start with these 3 lines or 3 dash, and then you specify name, description, which is very important. Other things are there, tools, models, colors, memory, this all are optional. What is important is name and description. This is compulsory. So you can add a description, the entire stuff here. Again, this was created by that one line. I'm going to replace this because we don't have enough time to read the entire stuff, find mistakes, and do those stuff. Of course, in the project, you will do that. But since I'm recording, I'm going to replace the entire stuff with my text. So select all, replace. Now this is my agent data. So it has to start with this. This is the agent information and some extra information here. So we can have a different name. So instead of payload extractor, I can say API extractor. Used proactively when scaffolding or modifying the Telescope backend, reads this file, produces the API contract file. At this point, you can see there's no API contract file here, documenting the exact request response, and also the error handling contracts. Now we can give some tools to it: read, grep, glob for the file searching, and write. These are the tools. Model we are specifying is Sonnet. Again, I think I selected inherit here, but let's change it to Sonnet, and the color is blue. So when this agent runs, it will show the blue color. Perfect. And then there are multiple information here. for more details. Okay, now I want to create the second agent. Now for the second agent, of course, you can go in this sequence which we have created before. You can go to agents and then you can go to library, create a new agent. This is one way. The another way is in the same agent file or folder, I can create cdata.md, and the format it should follow is these three dots, and two things. Name is, let's say, seed extractor. Maybe I can say seed data. And the next one is the description. And the moment you do that, we have not specified anything else here, just these two things. Now let's check in the library. So I will say agents, library. Okay, it's not coming yet. So what I will do is I will just restart Claude. So when you do it manually, there are certain things which you have to do. Let's check agents, library. Okay, can you see that? We got seed data. So we got two agents. It's so simple, right? If you want to create agents, in the agents folder, just add this seed data.md, and this is the format, your job is done. But again, this agent is not useful, so I have a text with me. I will just paste it. Okay, so this is the new thing. Again, I have to restart this, and I'll just have the same name, seed data extractor. Now, in both the files, if it is correct, it was going to create a file for you. But if it is not, it's not going to create a file. Okay, it's somewhere it is mentioned. Same goes for this. So if you get the file, that means everything is good. If not, something wrong which you have to recreate.